So, today we're diving into something pretty wild. It's a text that looks at using sleep deprivation, not as something to be avoided, but as a kind of drug to deliberately change your state of mind. Let's see what that really means.
Right off the bat, you have to understand the author wrote this while they were going through it. So this isn't some memory from years ago. This is a live report right from the thick of it, which makes it incredibly intense and maybe not entirely reliable. And here's the core idea, right? The author isn't talking about insomnia or an illness. They're actually reframing sleep deprivation as a tool, a psychological drug, as they call it, a way to get to an altered state without any chemicals.
So the big questions are, why would anyone even want to do this? And maybe more importantly, who does the author warn should absolutely, positively stay away? You know, the author frames this as a kind of answer to our super stressed out world. It's presented as an option for people looking for a different kind of experience, but maybe they don't have access to or just don't want to use actual drugs. And look, the author is crystal clear about this part. There are huge warnings. For people dealing with any of these things, insomnia, neurosis, epilepsy, or using other substances, this isn't just a bad idea. They say it's a direct path to something potentially disastrous. Okay, so how is this supposed to work in practice? Let's get into the actual rules of the game. The method itself is brutally simple. It's not about staying awake for a week straight. No, it's about forcing your body into this really strict, very narrow window of sleep, just 2 to 4 hours a day, period. And they're really serious about that 2-hour minimum. It's not a suggestion, it's a hard line. According to them, if you go below that, you don't unlock some special mental state, you just burn out. It's pure exhaustion, and that's not the goal at all. All right, so stage 1. And no surprise here, it starts with a straight-up fight against your own body's basic need for rest. Think of this first stage as just a battle of wills. It can last anywhere from a couple of days to a full week, and it's just this grueling test of endurance while your body is just screaming at you to go to sleep. And yeah, it sounds absolutely miserable. You know that feeling when you've pulled an all-nighter? The headache, the crankiness, that sand in your eyes feeling? Imagine that, but for days on end. The author says this is the filter. This is where most people just give up. But if you can actually make it through that wall of misery, the author claims everything changes. Your perception of reality itself starts to fray at the edges. So now it's not just your body fighting you anymore. It's your mind. For the next 3 to 9 days, the challenge isn't just about staying awake. It's about trying to navigate a world that's starting to feel, well, not quite real. So this is what that mental shift looks like. The line between what's in your head and what's out there in the world just gets blurry. You might have a full conversation with someone in your head and be totally convinced you said it out loud. The world can start to feel flat, like you're in a movie or a simulation. Okay, so after all that comes the peak, stage 3. This is supposedly the payoff, this period of intense, almost supernatural energy and incredible euphoric clarity. This is what the author calls the mean reward for the whole ordeal. It's like your body finally stops fighting, fully adapts, and starts running on some kind of high-performance fuel. And it's wild, right? It's the total opposite of stage 1. All that exhaustion, the grumpiness, poof, gone. It's replaced by this feeling of amazing well-being. Your senses are heightened, and you have what feels like limitless energy. And the author's description here is, well, it's pretty blunt, but it definitely gets the point across about the sheer intensity of the energy they're talking about. But of course, what goes up must come down, and after that incredible high, the text describes this final, terrifying stage where the mind, pushed way too far, finally begins to break. You can think of this as stage 2, but on steroids and fueled by nightmares. That feeling of unreality, it's not just weird anymore, it's actively scary. The curiosity is gone, replaced by paranoia and just this overwhelming sense of fear. And the author gives some really creepy, specific examples. We're not talking about seeing things that aren't there. We're talking about your brain taking something totally normal, like some bags on the sidewalk, and twisting it into something out of a horror movie. And it's not just the world outside that gets twisted, it can turn right back on you. Imagine looking at your own hand and, because of a shadow, seeing it as if it's decomposing. That's the level of personal, disturbing hallucination we're talking about here.
And this really is the biggest, boldest warning in the whole text. The author is basically screaming, if you have any underlying mental health issues, this final stage isn't just a bad trip. It could be a one-way ticket to a complete breakdown or worse. So, in the end, the whole text just leaves you hanging with this massive question, doesn't it? Is this whole journey some hidden path to a new kind of awareness, or is it just a cheap ticket to madness?